Hello, it's Maya Andreasen, and today I'm going to kind of go over how you can apply the brick texture to the oven model that I provided and make sure that all your bricks are pointing in the proper direction. So we're actually going to kind of start from scratch. So I'm going to start new, and we're going to do 2048 by 2048. We're going to select our file. Here, Oven Geo. Okay. So we're going to grab our Oven Geo. If we had any baked maps, pre-baked maps, we would add them here. I do have a color ID map. It's not, I don't want to go into using the color ID map right now. So we're just going to focus on applying using the kind of the UV map options. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to discard this and we're going to start from scratch. So the first thing we need to do is we go to texture set settings and we need to bake mesh maps. So I'm going to make this 2048 by 2048, and I don't have a high poly version of this model, so I'm going to use low poly mesh as the high poly mesh, and that way everything will bake properly. And then we are going to bake selected textures, which are all over here. If we had a color ID map, we would uncheck this, right? But we're going to bake selected maps, so it's going to do all of that. Okay, so I already have a brick texture which I made in Substance Designer, and it's right here. So if you wanted, and I imported an SBSAR file. So just for future reference, if you have an SBSAR file that you made in Substance Designer, you would go to Import Resources, you would add the resource, you would find it, which is not in here. All right, it should be under source images. Nope. Substance, there we go. So it's old brick. So you would select that and you would click open. It would be material. You'd want it to be base material, and then you would want to add it to your library. So I've already added it, so I don't need to re-add it. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to go to our layers. I'm going to delete this layer and I'm going to create a new fill layer. Or rather, I'm going to grab my brick and it's going to be my new fill layer. Now, when I first put it over here, it looks completely crazy. So what we need to do is first we need to tile it down. So I'm going to tile this down. But even when I do that, it still looks kind of insane. Now, there are some parameters that I added here. So I added some mortar parameters. So I'm going to bring that mortar down just a bit so it's not quite as much spillage. But as you can see, the bricks are in all these different, they're rotated in certain different ways. They're not all uniform. They're not like what the brick is supposed to be. Like over here on the side, the brick is vertical and it should be horizontal. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am actually going to add a mask here. So I'm going to right mouse press on my layer and I'm going to add a black mask, and then it's going to appear as if everything is gone. If we go over here to the left side of our screen, I'm going to click Polygon Fill, and I'm actually going to go to the UV Chunk Fill. And then I'm going to press this part of the UV because I happen to know that that section of UV I know that it is the round upper part of the oven. So that is what I selected. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this. So it is brick. But if you could rename, it's not going to let me. There we go. So this is going to be oven round part brick, just so I can keep it clear in my head. All right, so we're going to add another one of these guys, and we're going to add it here. We're going to tile it, bring it down. I am going to add a black mask to it, and we're going to click this area because I know that this is the bottom area. Okay, so we need to click on your actual brick, And we need to rotate this. So let's see what happens when I rotate it 90 degrees. Oh, look at that. It rotates quite nicely to the direction that I want on the sides. I do want to go down here to the mortar, and I want to bring it down the spill just a bit. I also want the tiling to come down. Oop, that's a lot. Let's do 12. Let's type in 12. Maybe 13. All right, so that's about the size of this. All right, so as we can see, the top is not in the direction that I want, and you can actually fill things in differently. Like, so, all right, I'm going to add another layer here. Okay, I'm going to, let's bring it down. Let's tile it a bit. And let's add a black mask. Now this time, what we can do is we can actually paint out certain portions. So I'm going to actually make this a little bit bigger. And I want this to not be visible, so it's going to stay black. And then if I go to my paintbrush here, I think it's white. Yeah. So this is white, so making this visible. So I'm just gonna, right now, this is a really big brush. We can bring the size down a bit, right? So that the areas here, right, are looking better. You can also, I think, oh, it's like, right, you can make a little line. If you hit shift, it's a control shift. No, it's shift. Should be able to, there we go. You click in one area, click in another, and you can make a straight line. So we're going to try that again. So we click here, and then we shift here and make a nice straight line. And we're going to do that here too. Just click here and click here. And it makes a nice straight line, right? And we want the entire inside portion of this, but, right, let's get the edges first, because that's really what I want to show up properly. There we go. And then we can make this bigger, so we can just bring this in, make it visible. If you're worried about spill, right? Then remember, you can make the size smaller. So we need this to blend. Oh, but look at that. What we don't want is it to go outside the area we want to stay in. Now, I am using a mouse, which is just plain silly. So I recommend that if you have, oopsie, if you have a Wacom tablet, or Wacom, I mispronounce it all the time. If you have a tablet of any kind, I would recommend using that tablet. Right. So we do have some overlap here that isn't great. You can see, right? So I don't know why I have overlap, because I tried to make sure that, oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Symmetry. I want symmetry off. I don't want symmetry on. Yeah, I don't want it on. So symmetry is not on. Just making sure it isn't. Okay. Oopsie. Tried to hit Alt, didn't quite get there. Okay, So we can also go to our brush. Where's the color of my brush? There it is. To get rid of certain portions here. I don't want it spilling over here, actually. All right, so this isn't, middle mouse press. This isn't perfect, but it's a little bit better than it was. I really just wanted the bottom here. I do need to go in and get rid of these portions here. Right, because I don't want this. Though actually, if it stays, I can always put different brick on top of it, and we won't see it, and it won't be the end of the world. So it's fine. All right, so what I need to do here is I just need to make sure that this is going in the right direction, and I can also go over here and paint directly on the model if I want to. So for areas that are looking a little crazy, because some of the mask is splotchy, I can go in like this and fix that. Okay, so we're going to pretend like this is perfect. Obviously, if I had Wacom tablet a little bit more time, I would be making sure that this all was more perfecto. I'm going to call this oven top, I guess. And then this is going to be brick side. So now when we turn these on, I do want to go here to this, and I actually want to get rid of this because there's overlap, and I don't want that overlap. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to awkwardly mask this out with using my mouse. Awkwardly masking this out using my mouse. It's beautiful. It's lovely. All right. And it's not going to be perfect because I'm just trying to rush a little bit here. But hopefully you get the idea. I am going to go fill this portion back in because I obviously want that to show. All right. So remember what we can do, right? We're going to put this back up here. We're going to make this smaller, and we're going to do that shift action. Ooh, not that small. All right. So let's see. There we go. Yep. All right. Brought it back to life. Beautiful. All right. Let's move over here. And bring this back. Okay. All right. So now if we make all of this visible, right, we're starting to get this to look correct, which is nice. It's good. All right. I think, where's this back portion? Not sure. We shall find out. We shall see. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do, I actually kind of like how the brick is kind of showing through here. Like I might make that concrete. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play around with that. But if we wanted this just to be brick, right, we'd, oops, grab the brick again, and we do a black mask, and we would go here and just select this guy, and it's so ginormous that obviously we need to tile that bad boy down. It's a little bit too big. So, let's see what 6. 6, pretty good. Now, obviously there's some issues where we see some overlap from the oven top. So we'd need to go in there and fix that, obviously, because it doesn't look good. But you're starting to get the idea. Now we can also delete this and look for some concrete. So here's some concrete. I'm curious to see what this looks like. And we can add our black mask, and we can go here and click this. And this is actually very interesting because we see some of the brick coming through. I might actually move this down, and yeah, so it's like, oh, somebody tried to plaster over it, and we get a little bit of the brick coming through. So we're kind of cheating and fixing our mistake a little bit. I mean, obviously we'd have to go through a little bit more and work on it more to integrate it better, but you're starting to get the idea of how you can make this entire thing look like the brick is going in the right direction. It is, once again, we're utilizing multiple layers and masks to create to make sure that the bricks are all flowing in the right direction. Hopefully this is helpful. I'm Maya Andreasen. Until next time, bye-bye.